Welcome to Laodicea, a city of immense wealth and influence. Imagine a Roman-era Wall Street, a bustling center of commerce and finance. This wasn't just any city. It was a hub of industry and trade, renowned for its luxury goods and its prosperous citizens. Laodicea had everything except what truly mattered. And unlike the other churches of Revelation, Jesus has nothing good to say about them, this seventh and last church of Revelation. In Revelation 3:15 and 16, Jesus says, "You are neither hot nor cold, and because you are lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth." That's harsh. What does Jesus mean by this? To understand this, you need to know that Laodicea had no natural water supply. They had to import it from two places. Number one, Pamukkale. I'm in the Pamukkale hot springs, less than an hour away. Yeah, pray for me. I'm doing all this hard work for you so you would see the context of the Bible. These waters are nice and hot, but it's so full of minerals you don't want to drink it. And by the time it gets to Laodicea, it's not so great. And number two, the cold Lycus River was a great source of water 6 miles away. But by the time it reaches Laodicea, it loses its cool, crisp flavor and becomes stale and lukewarm. The hot water of Pamukkale was useful for healing. The cold water of the Lycus River was refreshing and satisfying. But the lukewarm, disgusting water in Laodicea, it was gross. When Jesus calls them lukewarm, he isn't saying, "I wish you were either really good or completely evil." No, he's saying, "You are useless. You are bland and stagnant. You are just like your own water. Disgusting. Stand for something. Be committed. Make a decision. Stop staying in limbo, doing things halfway. Commit to Jesus or not, but you're always halfway. Today I'll follow Jesus. Yes, I love him. But tomorrow, I'm not sure." What? You're so wishy-washy. If you don't want to be a Christian, okay, whatever. But one day you're hot and one day you're cold. What are you? Do you love Jesus or not? If you're an atheist, okay, I'm not happy about that. But at least I know where you stand. But one day you're Christian and one day you're not. What? And then Jesus says in verse 17, "You think you're rich, but you're poor, blind, and naked." This was shocking to Laodicea. Once again, let me tell you the background for real. Laodicea was rich, like Wall Street. In 1780, there was a massive earthquake and 10 nearby cities crumbled. The emperor said, "I'll give you money to rebuild." But Laodicea was the only city that said, "Nah, we don't need your money. We have money. We'll rebuild on our own terms." Are you serious? Jesus is purposely using trigger words, calling them poor. Are you serious right now, bro? Yes, in the eyes of God, you're the poorest of the poor, and I'll tell you why. And he uses another trigger word. He calls them blind. Say what? Laodicea had a famous medical center that specialized in eye treatments, so it's ironic that Jesus calls them blind. And naked? Laodicea was the center of fashion. The people dressed in luxurious black wool garments, which was high in demand across the empire. They took great pride in their dress, but Jesus calls them naked? Jesus is telling them, you may have financial wealth, but in the things that truly matter, you are bankrupt. You may be famous for healing physical eyes, but spiritually, you are blind. You may dress in the finest black wool, but in my eyes, you are naked and exposed. In Revelation 3:18, Jesus gives them a solution. He says, "I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, so that you may be rich, and white garments, so that you may clothe yourself, and the shame of your nakedness may not be seen, and salve to anoint your eyes, so that you may see." Jesus is speaking their language and ours. He's telling them that true wealth isn't found in money, but in a faith that has been tested and purified like gold in the fire. He's offering them white garments of righteousness to cover their spiritual nakedness. He's inviting them to let him heal their spiritual blindness so that they can see what truly matters. Jesus says in verse 19 that he's only rebuking them because he loves them. He wants what's best for them. He's calling them to wake up, repent, and return to him before it's too late. His desire is not to punish, but to restore. And now the popular verse, Revelation 3:20, I stand at the door and knock. Jesus is knocking on the door of your heart. But there are lots of others knocking on your door, and they're mostly bad. So how can you tell the difference? His voice. Can you hear his voice? You may feel spiritually poor, but can you hear his voice? You may be blind to the things of God, but can you hear his voice? You may feel naked in shame, but can you hear his voice? If you hear his voice, the tug in your heart, then don't ignore it. Open the door. Jesus is waiting. Jesus says, I will come into him and eat with him and he with me. In Revelation 3:21, Jesus gives an incredible promise. The one who conquers, I will grant to sit with me on my throne. Jesus is inviting you into victory. No more spiritual poverty. No more blindness to truth. No more shame and nakedness. But you have to open the door. If you hear his voice right now through this video, then open the door of your heart. If you haven't made a commitment to Jesus yet, you can do so today. Watch this linked video right here, and I'll lead you step by step into a saving relationship with Jesus Christ. Over 1,000 people have given their lives to Jesus through that video, and you can be next. Because that's what we're all about at Pastor Jason Answers, making Christians stronger. Subscribe now, and I'll see you in the next video. If you want to advance God's kingdom through this ministry, we're now on Patreon. Click the link in the description to become a member.